Thank you, Senator. Councilmember Thomas, the issue of the city deficit between overtime spending and an overestimation of revenue. We're facing a $100 million deficit. A longtime issue that has come up is putting more properties on the tax roll. The BGR says 65% of assessed value of all real estate in New Orleans and Orleans Parish exempt from property tax. Is that a consideration for you when it comes to solving this deficit?
I mean, at some point we have to look at, especially when you're looking at potential deficit and funding chartered city services, we have to look at all avenues, and let's meet with the BGR to take a look at those possibilities. But let's not panic, right? Right now, what they're projecting is somewhere between a $65 million deficit, and some folk say it may be a little more. But let's not start sounding the alarm, even though it's extremely important. A lot of that is tied up in the personnel positions from people who were working when you talk about the Americans Affordable Care Act. So a lot of those positions can be eliminated. And the rest of it is caught up in $70 million in the general fund and $30 million in projections. We aren't finished receiving Super Bowl receipts right now. And what do you know when you understand the history of the budget? A lot of that is made up in the fourth quarter and the first quarter of the next year. So while we're going to take a real serious look at the budget, we're going to meet with the BGR to talk about their recommendations and expanding the tax base. Let's not sound the alarm and let people think that city services are going to be cut.
Thank you, Senator Duplessis. A $100 million deficit. Is that an option to put more properties on the tax rolls? 1 minute.
I think it is time to sound the alarm. City Council knew back in January. They were notified back in January. Let's talk about how serious this is. The average New Orleanian pays $5,000 in property and sales tax combined. This is not monopoly money. This is not something we can just kick the can down the road. The council, under the leadership of Councilmember Helena Moreno, they took no action. We're now approaching October, and now we are facing upwards of $100 million in a budget deficit. This is serious because the people of New Orleans deserve answers. And now her answer is, what do? We ask the state legislative auditor, to come in and do the job of the city council. That is unacceptable. This is going to have serious consequences for our city because the city council is directly responsible for the budget. And there's no clear answer. We don't know if it's 65 million or 140
Senator,
million.
thank you,
but we have to take
Councilmember.
action.
Again, you were mentioned in terms of taking no action for when you were first notified about this. A $100 million deficit. Is putting more properties on the tax roll, is that an option? 1 minute.
First, I'll start by saying Senator Duplessis should know that mid-year cuts, when those come around, that's actually the responsibility of the executive branch. But nonetheless, the City Council did work to figure out different ways that we could cut expenses, including trying to cut travel expenses. And so now we're to the point where, of course, you've got the CAO saying one thing about what the budget is. We've got the finance office saying that the budget is a little bit different with the deficit. And then we have our council chair, Joe Giarrusso, who's looking at this very closely, along with the rest of us, saying we need specific clarity to really understand what the problem is. And so I don't care who I have to call in to solve the problems for the people of New Orleans. And the state legislative auditor has done tremendous work in the past when Susan Hudson, when she was having issues with her budget. And then ultimately he realized that she had more money than realized. And also when we were having issues with the city paying vendors, it was a state legislative auditor who came in, who saw the issues the administration was having, and ultimately we were able to solve those.